you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, we are going to look at a story that takes us all the way down to Georgia, and it is bizarre as heck. When a young mother one day went shopping to a Target. Well, there'd be more Targets that day than just the store.
Yo, what up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of teethdaggers reacts / analyzes videos. Today's gonna be a reaction. I don't think there's much to analyze about. Son discovers his mom's disturbing secret by that chapter. Last time we watched that chapter, you guys loved it. Thank you guys. This one's for you. Let's get right into it.
The Snellville police were soon called to the Targets, and there was something smelling weird in Snellville when witnesses would describe a man calmly fleeing the scene, not a bother on him, in front of plenty of onlookers. Why would they be so calm? As always, there's more to this than meets the eye. Now let's meet the story. Let's give it a go. The city of Snellville, right, is our setting for today, and as we know, we go through Mike's patented geography lesson. I gotta tell you, Snellville, you gotta...
He's so addicted to saying Snellville. He's gonna make me addicted to saying it too. He loves saying it.
Serious problem. Just change your name. It's not good.
He likes it. He fucking likes the name. I mean, I have to change that sentence for editing. He likes it. He freaking likes the name.
It's named after some guy from London named Thomas Snell, but I mean, come on now. It's located about 40 minutes northeast of Atlanta. About 20,000 people live there, call Snellville home. And probably the most interesting thing I could find that happened there, other than this case of course, was a former mayor didn't pay his taxes and used mayoral campaign funds to pay for porn sites. Yeah, I know, right? What an idiot. Who pays for porn these days? The town motto is Snellville, where everybody is proud to be somebody. That kind of... Oh, okay, you know what? Let's just move on. Let's move past that. I can't anymore with you. Let's move on to 2009. April 26th of that year. That early evening, it was a beautiful spring day, about 80 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. There was a light breeze, but it was dry, and the parking lot of the Target, which lies just north of downtown, it was busy. See, it was a Sunday, and people were out and about, many doing their shopping for the week that lay ahead. Just about 6 p.m, an SUV pulled into that old parking lot. Inside was a woman, alone but not for long. She was driving to the parking lot, as that was a pre-arranged site to pick up her son, who was about 1.5 years old. See, the woman Heather, she was going through a divorce at the time. The arrangement Heather shared with her soon-to-be ex-husband. You know, Heather, the mother, she was the primary custodian, but the boy's dad, he would get the little guy out weekends, and now hence, as a Sunday evening, she was going to pick him up. She was there to collect, and they always did the handover in public places, and the handover was always, like, real quick. No kind of, like, small talk, you know, some weather, none of that. None of that. This was no bueno. As I said, this was a very public place. This was on a little strip, so there was not only the Target, but plenty of other stores. And on a nice spring Sunday evening, folk were out and about. Which is what makes...
So what was she gonna do? Was she just gonna go there angrily and say, basically, fuck this, I'm not giving up my son. Pew, 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 pew. Or what? Like, I can't even predict what's about to happen.
What happened all the more bizarre when a single shot rang out. Soon there would be myriad calls to the police.
Oh, just one shot. Huh?
Reporting.
Oh, she just killed the guy, I guess.
Yes, reporting what they had seen, because a lot...
Well, fucking, that's not a smart plan. What was her accomplishment out of that?
A lot of people had seen.
There's the Target on 124. They say someone just got shot. It's kind of like escalate. You can't miss it. She's laying at the back of the car, most of it. Look at all this woman lying on the ground.
Where in her body did she get shot?
What? The guy shot her? Alright, guys. I don't think this show has any smoke breaks. And I gotta start snaking smoke breaks on the commercial, so... I wasn't doing that because I was banned from YouTube, but now we're back doing it. We're gonna make our own little smoke break here. I hope you have your green ready. Because let's smoke a bowl for this part. But first I have to keep a moment of silence so I can easily edit it out. Ten seconds. I get more views on YouTube when I edit out the smoking.
There's like a wooded area if you walk back there.
Heather lay on the ground of the parking lot covered in blood, while the person that had done this to her was calmly exiting the parking lot. Not running, not trying to hide, just strutting out like they owned the place. And by the time the authorities arrived, Heather had breathed her last, lying on that cold asphalt. The killer had gone. You want to know what was even more frightening? Heather's 19-month-old son was in the back of her car. She had gone, met her ex, taken the baby, placed him in her car, and then been shot in the head and shot dead. Nothing was stolen, her money, purse remained behind, no shell casings were...
Well, who did it? The fucking... the dad guy? This is definitely a mercenary. Discovers his mom's disturbing secret. So it couldn't have been the dad guy. And if this kid was too young to remember, that means they didn't know what happened until he all of a sudden grew up. How the fuck did they not know what happened in the middle of Target? This is like a triple secret.
Were left behind, no nada. Snellville was a small town with only 10 murders going back. Not a dangerous place with gangs and shootings and yada yada yada. Police quickly identified the victim as 25-year-old Heather Strube, daughter of Buddy and Mary Allen. Heather was born April 1984, an Atlantan by birth. She had 2 younger brothers, Hunter and Henry, and was a pretty bright, happy-go-lucky gal. Did well at school, made lots of friends, and would meet her future husband, Stephen, at a youth group. High school sweethearts became husband and wife at a fairly young age. Heather was 20, Stephen 21, and the families got on well together. Shared values, hopes, and dreams. Heather became a florist, working at the flower store that her parents owned and ran, and she later opened up her own store, if you can believe that. Stephen worked construction. It was 3 years into their marriage that they had a son together, a son named Carson. It was a dream come true for the Strube family. Steve was busting his ass, at the construction site. Heather managing and running her own little flower shop as a florist, and she would have baby Carson in with her every day because she ran the store. She basically do what she wanted, and they even built a little playpen in her flower shop for the baba. Stephen's mom would help out a lot too, Joanna, and she would make deliveries for the florists, help out with her grandson, whatever needed doing, she'd do. However, unfortunately, as we see all too often, the marriage went from good to not so much, with the stresses of, having a young baby, running your own business, money, everything. They don't make things easier, that's for sure. They did work on it, they went to marriage counselling, but it can only do so much, especially when one half of the marriage is already halfway out the door.
Dude, I love the fucking research this guy does. He, looks into their Facebook or somehow gets these photos and fucking... what does he do? He does this frequently. Does he, call their family and interview them and shit?
Joanna Hayes, Stephen's mother, she was as helpful as a hole in the head. She was as helpful as a third nut. She would constantly tell Heather how to raise her own child. Constantly...
Or does he just make stories up to make it seem, really interesting?
Nagging, constantly, even just taking the grandson off with her without telling anybody. Off you go. Heather'd be like, what are you doing? Where are you going with my son? Don't worry about it. I mean, even Steven Stroop Sr., who was, Steven Stroop's dad, ex-husband of Joanna, he didn't have very nice things to say about Joanna at all. She was a nutbag. But things really came to a head Valentine's Day 2008. See, Joanna just happened to find a receipt for some jewelry Steven had bought. So Joanna gave the receipt to Heather, saying, hey, Steven probably bought you some jewelry for Valentine's Day. If you don't like it, bring it back. Only problem was that Steven hadn't bought Heather shit. Heather quickly assumed he was seeing somebody else, and she was correct about that. Divorce followed, one that didn't start pretty and just got more busted from there. Heather began seeing a new guy, Mike Vickers, and that was going well. She got primary custody of baby Carson, and at weekends she would hand him over to Steven and Joanna too. This happened every weekend until Heather was shot dead in the Target parking lot. Steven handed the kid over and then left. Heather was still placing Carson in the back seat when a man approached Heather. Witnesses say they spoke, were rather shouted, and then a single gunshot.
Whoa, a hired hand, like the game we're gonna play, ESO, Elder Scrolls Online. A hired assassin. What the fuck? How do people have this kind of money?
Rang out.
It had to be a hired assassin or a simp for the other girl.
Him turn around and with a brisk walk head towards her car.
Then what happened?
He approached her while she was closing the back door, and she backed up facing the suspect still, closed the front door, walked around the front of the car, closed her driver door.
Okay.
An epic flying ready said, "Will you take another hit if I follow?"
Yes.
So he was leaned up against the driver's door.
Yes. But he wasn't a big guy.
Could you hear what he was saying?
Fuck yeah, an epic flying ratty, of course, bro. I stream every day, so make sure, even if I'm just your side bitch, make sure
Wisebot
that you follow.
said, "Bust in silhouette new follow, S, heart an epic flying ratty heart, welcome. 451 followers, +1. An epic flying ratty said, let's GOOO. An epic flying ratty said, you crazy and gangsta ASF. An epic flying ratty said, do a fat hit brew.
Fuck yeah, epic flying ratty. Thank you for the motherfucking follow. While I pack up this bowl, let's continue the show so I can get through of it as much as I can before we start ESO. But I'm definitely packing up the bowl right now. I just don't have it grinded, so you might have to wait 2 minutes. But thank you for the follow.
No, I couldn't hear any of that.
What about body language? Based on their body language, what do you think was going on?
She seemed startled, taken aback, I think confused.
Right as I passed her and him, my window was down and she said, help.
I noticed his hair because it was poofy and it was really, really dark, and he had a mustache on and it looked really, really fake.
Okay.
And I made the comment to my parents saying, oh, look at that guy's mustache. Kind of being a joke, and my entire family turned and looked.
Witnesses who had been on site when Heather got shot all said, this guy, he approached her, seemed like he was making a beeline directly for her. He was a white guy. And then after the shooting, he started walking back towards the target, but it was like walking around behind the target, where there was a small car park located as well. Likely they had a vehicle there, as when the K9 unit began tracking the scent, it abruptly stopped at a parking area behind the target next to a motel.
Wait, the fucking K9 couldn't sense it further than that? It was just like, this is where it used to be. What the fuck? Obviously, the guy is gone from the area. He just killed somebody. What the fuck? He's probably long gone. He's probably in Mexico or some shit. Oh, Jesus.
Now, Steven was ruled out kind of fairly quickly, but the idea of him hiring somebody else to do this, that could not be ruled out at all, hiring some lad from his construction site or something. Police also had to speak with Heather's new man, Mike Vickers. He matched the build of the shooter witnesses described. They also said the shooter looked like he was wearing a wig and a fake mustache, and in walks a bald guy with no mustache.
Tell about yours and Heather's relationship.
It was awesome.
Okay.
It was great. She kept me together. We planned on buying a house.
Who can we talk to at work just to verify that you were there the whole day and all that?
Anybody that's working.
He was alibied out though. He was at work 20 minutes away. It seemed like it definitely had something to do with Stephen, right? The only person with a motive to want Heather dead. As I said, nothing was stolen. It seemed like Heather was like the target of whoever this guy was. And so, Stephen, right? Police went to his house. They want to speak with him, but Stephen was very around the police. In fact, the first time the police showed up to his house, he lived with Joanna and Joanna's new husband. And basically, the new husband was the only person there. And he opened the door and was like, Stephen's not here. Then a guy walks up to the house behind the police as if he's about to enter. The police turn around and were like, "Are you Stephen?" He said no and then walked away. He pretended to be Stephen's cousin. The police then caught up and were like, "You are Stephen though." Yeah, he was kind of weird and evasive around.
I would do the same thing though. A bunch of cops are at my house, even if I was innocent. I would be like, and they're like, "Are you Stephen?" I'd be like, "No." Bye.
Around the police. But yeah, he seemed upset that she was killed and kind of yada yada yada. The police didn't get to speak with Joanna at the time though, who also could be somebody with a motive. She was out for a drive at the time when they initially went there. Did Stephen hire somebody? Did somebody in his family want to hire somebody? And before I continue, let me just tell you all about this whole video's sponsor, and that, my friends, is Audible. Postal New England atmosphere and twisting plot where no one is really who you think they are. The story is told from multiple perspective quality content. Please check out my link in the description. New members get to check out Audible for free. That is audible.com/thatchapter or text that chapter to 500 for your free trial. Thank you so much to Audible for sponsoring That Chapter, and you know, that chapter is like the chapter of an audiobook. So it kind of works out absolutely perfectly. Now, let's get back to it. CCTV footage from the parking lot showed the handover, but as it was a moving camera, it didn't capture the actual shooting. But it did show Steve leaving the area. But another camera did show the shooter walking to the parking lot, and then after the shooting away to behind the target near the motel.
Oh, I get it. Steve barely got to see his child. Okay, I should have been paying attention better. He already did foreshadowing in the very beginning. He was like, Steve, he hated not being able to see his child. They didn't like each other.
An epic flying ratty said, "When you gonna post that video about the guy on Ascension trolling you?"
When I find it, I have a lot of videos to go through. He barely got a chance to see his son. I think he just got fed up with not being able to see his son, and he couldn't beat the court system, and he went crazy.
An epic flying ratty said, "That shit was epic."
Yeah, it was really good streaming that day.
And then another witness came forward. Somebody, right, get this, who just so happened to be smoking an L ciggy
XCL Clay
at the motel
said,
that was behind the target.
"Sex case fuss."
Sex case fuss.
Near where the killer was going. And he said he saw some shady business behind the target. His name was Daryl, right? And he saw a white pickup parked there, engine running. Inside, he said, was a man. The exact same as the witnesses from the parking lot had described. Hair, mustache, both of which though looked fake. And Daryl said he could see this guy inside a white pickup, Ford F-150, watching the parking lot out the front of the target with the binoculars, keeping an eye out, you know, covert like. He even said he'd seen that white Ford F-150 there multiple times in the days leading up to the shooting. That they had been there like scouting out, you know, military, covert, tactically scouting out the place. And then he'd seen it a couple of hours before the actual shooting, and then he'd seen it after the shooting, what we can assume is after the shooting, based on...
He was scouting it out before he got paid, because there's no way he would fucking, not get paid and fucking do all that work just for the chance of somebody? That means he was fucking sitting there before he was getting paid, dude. What a loser.
The time he saw that truck there, and the person who was inside that Ford F-150, as soon as they saw Daryl eyeballing them, they hauled ass out of there. Daryl was able to tell the police a few specifics about.
And like, if he got paid first, he wouldn't have killed them. He would have dipped.
This particular white Ford F-150, because he was a car guy, knew all about cars, and he noticed that car, that Ford F-150, had a black trim around it, which was like a custom job. They don't come like that out of the shop. Now that made the police stop in their tracks for a second. Well, for one reason, it's like, okay, we got something identifiable about the car. And two is that they had heard of somebody who also drove a white Ford F-150. They knew Joanna Hayes drove a car like that, so they said to Daryl, "Wanna take a ride?" They drove over to the house, and yep, Daryl said, "That's the car parked outside. That's the car I saw behind the target." A sketch was done of the shooter, and it seemed clear that the shooter was not a man in a wig. It was a woman in a wig. In fact, no shit, Sherlock, it looked like it could be Joanna Hayes. The dog-faced woman, the mother—
What? They just said... I mean, I know why they said that, because they were like, the truck. But that's no fair that they were like, actually, it looked like a woman, and they can't say that, dude. They just should have been like, oops, we were wrong about that, but now we have the person right here.
Mother-in-law from the depths of hell. The thing is, though, Joanna didn't want to speak with the police. Shucks. She did give them an alibi, though. She said she had left her house at about 5 p.m. She was going to go see her folks, and she had stopped off on the way to pick up some food, so she was like, you know, wait, check the time I got the food at, therefore I couldn't have done the shooting. However, when the police did speak with her, she was like, you know, kind of giving them the little spiel about blah, 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 blah. She was damn sure to say, Heather, man, she sucked. I mean, she really, really sucked. She said, quote, "Heather was not a good parent, had inherited poor parenting skills from her own mother, and was not a good parent morally, and wasn't good enough to raise her grandchild. It's great she's gone, but I didn't do it, I swear." So Joanna wouldn't come in, and there wasn't enough to arrest her. Yet. So the police then said to themselves, Hell yeah, little Stevie, come here for a sec, you know. I want to just have a few words with you, maybe just shoot the shit, it's just those fellas.
I want to go back over everything you told me the other day.
Oh, and before I forget, yeah, would you kindly want to just have a go at some footage from the parking lot that day? Maybe it'll jog your memory. You know, from the day your ex-wife was shot
Oh, that's crazy. That's definitely a woman.
to death mere feet from your son. The Egypt was caught on camera. Who's that?
You're familiar with the target shot? Yeah. You know, it looks like her, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Kenny? That's right. That's your mom. God, Kenny. That's your mom, isn't it? Oh, you said she had told me not to tell me she got picked up. That's her, isn't it? You saw it. You know your own mom. It could be like that. Kenny? No, you know. Oh, crap. The child was in the car.
Whoa! That's how they got her. They were like, is that your mom?
Less than 5 feet away. And that's your mom walking away. She's trying to take care of you. That's why you gotta take care of me.
And then, well, Shanae.
Oh my god. That could be her news. She's not possible stupid. I swear to God, I do not know. I am freaking out right now.
Having a look at that picture, he says, "Fuck my life." I'm paraphrasing.
It's her instinct.
Oh my god.
That's your mama.
Oh god. Oh my god. Screwed up my son's life's gonna be. His mom's dead. What, Dad has a mom who killed her?
They then got Stephen to call Joanna, his mother, and see if him confronting her about what he had a go at would shake the tree a little.
Hey!
Mom. Hey.
Hey!
I just left the police station. They showed me the videotape.
Yeah?
It looks like you,
It looks like me?
Bob. It looks like you. It looks just like you. Walks like you. Why'd you do it?
I didn't do it.
Bob. Did you do it?
The son's trying to get his fucking mom to rat on herself, though? That's intense.
Seriously,
This is a fucking intense episode.
do not lie to me.
No, I did not.
Joanna denied everything. It was then the police took her in. Joanna denied being involved in her son's marriage. A little tinker.
Jillian.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Harold Thomas.
I don't ask. I don't, like I said, I stay out of it as much as I possibly
Completed
can.
non-committal.
Like I said, it's what the two of them do is none of my business.
She denied knowing when and where the custody exchange took place.
You knew that they exchanged you at Target 6 o'clock every other weekend.
No, sir.
You didn't know that?
No.
She was, however, happy to talk shit about Heather.
I mean, I'm not gonna bash her.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it.
Remember when I said I wouldn't talk shit? Okay, well, forget that. Because she was a degenerate gambler.
$7,000, $8,000 entry fees for online gambling. Some jewelry disappeared that Stephen looked for quite earnestly.
Do you ever know of a time when Heather wasn't there for the baby?
It's quite a few.
Like, I'm talking about while they was married.
Yes.
But what footage? Goodbye!
Oh, my son said it's me. I just don't believe it.
You don't think he said that?
No.
Is he lying?
I don't know. Maybe we need to go get his glasses.
Since you said you hadn't seen this, this is going to be the video clip. This is an enhanced
Is
version.
this the one I showed on the news too?
I believe it is.
Okay.
This is a artist rendering from our witnesses.
Why'd she think she could get away with that?
And that's supposed to be me? I wish my nose was that narrow.
It's basically the same facial features, same jawline, the same chin, same nose.
I just don't see it.
We know you're not being honest with us about everything. Let me tell you, now's the time. Now is the time.
I don't think so.
You know how hard it is to clean blood out of a carpet in a bedroom?
I have no blood in a carpet.
But it's hard to do that.
I have no reason to have to clean blood out of a carpet in a vehicle. I would be the least person to have to gain anything by
I
it.
have Carson every day.
No, I wouldn't. Why would I have Carson every day?
It's not.
Alright guys, so I predicted it. It was up for Carson every day. It was the opposite though. She already had him a lot. And I guess she wanted him every day. No matter what. And the son ratted her out. And if you guys like that video, make sure to type in son discovers his mom's disturbing secret. Parentheses. And rats her out. By that chapter. Find me at twitch.com/teethdaggers. Hell yeah, guys. If you like that episode of Teeth Daggers Reacts to Videos, make sure to subscribe below.